this is probably my favorite and most stressful time. Hi, my name is Jeanette, and I want to thank you for joining me on the channel Jane Reads. So today we're going to be playing my Bonkers TBR game to determine what I'm going to read in the month of June. And I do have an update. I have created lose cards. So lose spot, and then on the back of them are just different options. Some, oops, as I dropped them all. Some are good, some are bad. So here's one that's not great. Is use a spinner wheel to add a classic from your own TBR. Or roll the dice and move back that number of spaces and fulfill the prompt at that space. And only allowed to pick library books to fulfill prompts going forward. So there's some kind of challenging ones, and then there is some, that was a challenging one. So current TBR is voided, start game completely over. That could be annoying. Here's one that's not so bad, is lose spot isn't always bad. Add a book of your choice. So I have 15 of these cards, and one of these cards is a John Grisham, because I'm still working my way through my John Grisham books, so I wasn't completely voiding that option on this loose spot. I just want a little bit more variety than having to read a John Grisham or two every single time I land on that spot. Okay, so those are the cards. I'm just kind of mixing them up now that I've kind of gone through them a little bit. I didn't read all 15 to you, but either way. Okay, how am I doing on my May TBR? Today is the 23rd. I'm like, is it? Yes, it is the 23rd, and I have 2 books remaining. So I am 80 pages into this one, 78, close enough. And I have not started this one yet, but I still have a week. And those are the only 2 I have left on my TBR. I don't currently have either one on audio, but I'm not listening to an audiobook yet, so I was kind of like, maybe I'll get the audio through Audible, but I don't want to use my credits for that when I have the physical book that I can read, so I don't know. I'm still debating. Okay, so other than finishing those 2, let's find out what is in my plans for June. There are no readathons that I'm aware of that I plan to participate in for June. However, I do have my yearly reading challenges that I'm working my way, trying to stay current on them. For my own reading challenge, my June prompt is your second most read genre. So I just posted a video talking about what my second most read genre is for the last year. So not currently, just for the last year, from April 2023 to April 2024. And that is contemporary romance. So in that video, I added 4 possibilities for me. So I'm hoping to get one of those on this. Okay, so for Katie's Read Around the World challenge, the June prompt is translated into a language you would like to learn. Well, I'm kind of stretching this a little bit because there's not really a language that I want to learn. I had to take French in school, and as soon as I did not have to take it, it was not a requirement anymore, I dropped it. I was not my forte. I struggled and struggled, and English is enough for me. So there's not a language that I would like to learn. Just learning another language is not something I desire to do. So I do own this book, Children of the Stars by Mario Escobar, and it is written by a Spanish author. Mario lives in Madrid, Spain, and this book has been translated from Spanish to English. So I reached out to Elma and asked if she wanted a buddy read this with me because I know that she owns this book as well. And so we are going to buddy read this in June. So it would be helpful to get it for one of the books, like to fit one of the prompts in my game, so I'm not adding another book. So if you want to buddy read this with me, with the 2 of us, please reach out to me on Instagram. It's JaneReads_Insta, and we'll create a group chat and we can chat about it. Okay, now the last yearly reading challenge I'm doing is Chantel's Read Your Bookshelf, and June's prompt is for the Doyle path. It is to read a science fiction or a fantasy book. And I chose the Doyle path because the Montgomery path was to read a book of poetry. I don't read poetry. I don't really read science fiction or fantasy. So like kind of the whole month of June is kind of like really stretching me. However, I do have this series on my shelf. Last Light by Terry Blackstock is book number 1. It's the Restoration series. And when I look on Goodreads, it says it falls into the science fiction category. Okay, so knowing that this prompt was coming up, I had to stick on the Doyle path to be able to get science fiction. So I need to be able to get this one into a prompt. So those are the books that I'm hoping to get in the prompts. Now, let's go to the game and see how it's going to treat me this time. Is it going to be a good month or is it going to be a challenging month? Okay, we're all set up. Roll number 1 is an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And the prompt is... So our first prompt is Rereads Bingo Board. So this was really easy for me. Brunch at Bittersweet Café by Carla Laureano. This is book 2 of the Supper Club series, and I just read book 1 2 months ago, and this is my next one to read in that series. It is a reread. I'm reading through my series because I've never read book 3. So I wanted to familiarize myself with the characters, this group of friends. So this is a reread. And this is a contemporary romance. So this is one of the books from my recommendations possibilities video for my June prompt. So this one was perfect. That was an easy decision. Oh, should I even tell you what this is about? It's a contemporary romance. We are following Melody, who is the pastry chef that we met in book 1. And that's about all I really want to say because it is book 2 of the series. And I don't want to know a whole lot. It was a number of years ago that I read this, so it is not fresh in my mind. Okay, roll number 2. That's a 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Library. So the next prompt was library, which is very open. And this one was much harder than that first prompt because it was like, how do I choose what book I'm going to get from the library? And I went to my for later shelf on my library's website and what did I set aside? But most of them are series books, and either I'm not at that point in the series yet, or I just don't really want to start another series when I have so many I want to finish this year first. So then I was like, okay, So I decided, which I'm taking a risk here because I'm not very far into this one, but I'm going to add 2 Reasons to Run by Colleen Coble. This is book 2 of this series, The Pelican Harbor. So this is book 1 that I am reading right now. But as I said, I'm only 80 pages in it. Am I going to want to continue the series? I don't know yet. It's still very early in the book. But I'm expecting to want to continue the series. So 2 Reasons to Run, book number 2 of the Pelican Harbor series. And I know I can get this one from my church library. So that is the one I'm going to go for. Hopefully I do get connected to these characters and like them. Okay, let's go back to the board for roll number 3. A 6 and a 4, that makes 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh joy, oh joy. My BFF gets to pick a classic for me to read. Now, the stipulation that she does have, it has to be a classic I own, which means I must have been interested at some point. So I will have to send her the list of the ones that I own, and she will pick a book from that list. I'm not a huge classic fan, but I do own them and I want to get through them. So kind of some samples of what I have is Fahrenheit 451 by Ray Bradbury, which is one that I'm really interested in reading again. I read it in high school and I remember really enjoying it. Or there's Emma from Jane Austen. Or I have a few Agatha Christie novels. I do have Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. I have a few Anne of Green Gables novels, and I now have book 1, so I could start in that series. And I have Black Beauty and Heidi and The Importance of Being Earnest by Oscar Wilde. So that's kind of majority of what I have. So I will send her that complete list, and she will pick which one I'm going to read. Christine, be nice.
Be nice. I'm always nice. I'm just a perfect angel. Maybe not. Okay, hey guys, I'm BFF Christine, and I get to choose a book. I love this. I mean, I'm a little bit disappointed that I have parameters around the book, but that's okay. I still get to choose a book, so still excited. Classics. Ooh, yikes. I'm not a classic book person at all. So when she sent me her list, I was very interested and wasn't quite sure what I was going to do because I just automatically assumed that I had not read any of her books, which is pretty accurate. What I initially thought was I'll take a look through the list and just kind of see what looks interesting. So I've got her list here. And the first thing that I noticed that was a little bit of interest to me was A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. I mean, I can make her read a Christmas book in June. I kind of like that idea, but I can't do it. Yeah, I would probably lose BFF status. And that is not worth risking at all. So I keep going down the list and I see Anne of Green Gables books. She's got the first one now, which means she can start the series. So that's tempting. And then I look and I see that she does have Anne of Green Gables number 6, which is Anne of Ingleside. I can choose a book number 6 in a series, and she will have to read book number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 before she gets to 6. So I could effectively give her 6 books to read for this one prompt in June. Oh, the power. The power that I could have here. But again, I can't do it because it's absolutely not worth risking BFF status. So I kept on looking at her list. I do see that she has Black Beauty. I don't really know anything about it, but I'm pretty sure that there's a horse involved, and that seems like something she would like, so that's a possibility. And then I also see that she has Heidi. And I do remember that when I was in grade 4, we read the book Heidi. Do I remember it? No, that was way too long ago. So I remember nothing about it. But I mean, technically I've read it, and so therefore it's a possibility. So I decided earlier today that I was going to choose between either Black Beauty or Heidi. I decided I would be smart and I would be nice, and I would choose the shortest of those 2 books. Hey, I'm trying to be nice here. So I bring them up on Goodreads and I look, and they both say that they are the same length, the same number of pages. So that's very not helpful. I decided that I will go with the one that I have technically read, and we will go with Heidi. So I hope you enjoy this, Jeanette, and I'm looking forward to hearing about it.
Okay, let's go back to the board and see what happens next. Okay, roll number 4. 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I missed the lose spot twice? Like, wow. Okay, what is this going to do to me? Oh. A friend gets to pick my book. Okay, so I got friend pick. So I have sent a text to a couple friends, and whichever one responds first is going to be the one that gets to pick for me. So for now, let's move on with the board and roll again, and I will come back to this when I hear from them. So we are on roll number 5. 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oops. Go back 12. Just when I was making progress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Released last year. Okay, so I got released last year, and I have decided to go with Positively Penelope by Pepper Basham. I haven't even hauled this book yet because I just picked it up earlier this month. It is book 2 of the Sky Mar series, and since I read book 1 earlier this year, I thought, well, let's continue on with the series. Because the other books that I have that are released this year, I have one standalone, or released last year. I have one standalone, and then I have 2 that are book 3 of a series that I'm not at yet. So it was like, okay, let's work on a series that I am currently in the middle of. So that is this one. So we are following Penelope, who is the sister cousin of Izzy from book 1. And we know that she's really into theater, and now she has traveled to Skymar in like kind of an internship thing from what I understand. And I'm hoping it's similar to the way Izzy was with the letters and kind of the correspondence between Penelope, Izzy, and Luke. And I just really enjoyed a lot of that banter. So yeah, this is going to be the one I'm going to put on. Okay, let's go with roll number 6. And 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we were getting close to that spot. Okay, what is this? A one-word title. Okay, so the prompt is a one-word title. And again, this was a fairly easy choice for me. I have chosen Sundown by Susan May Warren. This is book number 3 of the Sky King Ranch series. It's the next one I need to read. This is the last book in the series, so this would finish a series for me. And we are following the 3rd Sky King, Kingston, I think is the family's name? Yes. Wow. I haven't really been enjoying these books as much as I kind of hoped to enjoy them. But as we move further into the series, I've enjoyed book 2 more than I enjoyed book 1. And that's kind of my normal routine. So I'm hoping this one will just because this should wrap up everything from the continuing storylines from book 1 and 2. So this should be my favorite of the series, I hope. I'm not going to tell you much about it because it is book 3 of the series, and the character we are following is Colt Kingston. Okay, let's roll again and see what happens. Okay, we are back with roll number 7. And we're going with 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It had to happen, right? Go to lose. I thought, oh, can't even see that. I thought, well, maybe by making cards, I would just, that's a sign that I don't need to land on that spot. But no, the game's decided, yes, I have to. Okay, so let's kind of mix these up a bit so that I really don't know what they are. And what card am I going to get? Here we go. Ooh, okay. Move spot or loose spot isn't always bad. Move directly to the end spot. And to the end we go. So one of my friends responded. And then I asked, do you want 3 options or 5 options? And she said to give her 5 options. Okay, so because I couldn't get these ones on the board or on the TBR, I gave her Last Light by Terry Blackstock and Children of the Stars by Mario Escobar. Then I chose False Witness by Randy Singer. This is a reread. It's on my rereads bingo board, so I just spun the wheel to choose a book from there because I'm not doing very good on that bingo board. Then I chose Murder at the Mikado. Wow, I cannot speak. By Juliana Deering. This is book 3 of the Drew Farthing Mysteries, and this was the next one for me to read. And then I chose The Highest of Hope, which is book 2 in this series, The Canadian Crossings, by Susan Ann Mason. And I just read this one this month, so it would be continuing a series. So, let's see if she's responded with my choices, with the options. Oh, she's so kind. Like, oh, thank you. Okay. She chose Children of the Stars by Mario Escobar. Oh, this is the one that I will be buddy reading with Alma for the Katie's prompt for her Read Around the World. So that's perfect because I could not get it on the board. Now, okay. As I said, I don't really know much about this. It says, I picked it up, honestly, because of the cover. It's the whole reason I picked it up. This reminded me so much of my favorite cover. No Ocean Too Wide. Can you see the similarity? Yeah, that is the whole reason I picked this up. So it says, August 1942, Jacob and Moses Stein, 2 young Jewish brothers, are living with their aunt in Paris amid the Nazi occupation. The boys' parents, well-known German playwrights, have left the brothers in their aunt's care until they can find safe harbor for their family. But before the Steins can reunite, a great and terrifying roundup occurs. The French gendarmes, under Nazi order, arrest the boys and take them to the... Ooh, this is going to be challenging. Velodrome de Hiver, a massive bleak structure in Paris where thousands of French Jews are being forcibly detained. Okay, so it's set in France. So it's going to have some French. We'll see. I think I'm going to be very happy that I'm buddy reading this because I might need some help. Okay, so now we are at the end spot. So now I need to spin my bingo board wheel to find out what is going to be my book for the end spot. Okay, so let's pull up that wheel and give it a spin. Okay, I have the wheel up. I have 11 books left out of the 24. That's pretty good, right? Okay, let's spin and see what book it gets me. I'm a little concerned about a few of them because they're not books 1 of a series, but let's see. Okay, that is not one that I am concerned about. I thought for a second I didn't record the screen. Okay, Where the Road Bends, that is by Rachel Fordham. This is the book. I've heard really good things about this book, and I really enjoyed the other Rachel books I have read. I don't know what order in publication. They're not series, they are standalone. I just don't know if this is one of her early books or later. Because I was told I really should read her books in publication order, but I didn't read that way. Any of them, I haven't read them that way. So, and looking at her book list, this is the 5th book she published, and I've only read the first 2. But, oh well. Okay. As Nora King surveys her family land in Iowa in 1880, she is acutely aware that it is all she has left, and she will do everything in her power to save it, even if that means marrying a man she hardly knows. Is this a marriage of convenience? Days before her wedding, Nora discovers an injured man on her property. Her sense of duty compels her to take him in and nurse him back to health. Little does she realize just how much this act of kindness will complicate her life and threaten the future she has planned. Okay, maybe it's not a marriage of convenience, but we'll see what happens. So this is going to be my end spot book, and that is all the books on my TBR. So I have 7 books on my TBR this month. This is a shorter TBR than some of the ones I've had. However, I did not get, and I've already lost the book, I did not get Last Light on. So I need to work on this one to complete that prompt. But that's the only one I kind of really was hoping to get on the TBR that I didn't. So I have Brunch at Bittersweet Café by Carla Laureano for a book from my rereads bingo board. Then I had a library book, so I have chosen book 2, which is 2 Reasons to Run by Colleen Coble. I will get that from the library. So that's just a placeholder. Then book 3 is a BFF Picks a Classic for me, so this is the book that Christine chose. And then book number 4 is a friend pick, so out of the ones that I sent them to choose from, they chose Children of the Stars by Mario Escobar. And then for number 5, it was released last year, and I chose Positively Penelope by Pepper Basham. Book number 6 is a one-word title, and I chose Sundown by Susan May Warren. And then book number 7 is from my TBR bingo board, and it chose Where the Road Bends by, I thought I had the title wrong, Where the Road Bends by Rachel Fordham. So those are the 7 books. So 6 physically plus the one that the classic. We'll see what she picks. So I think it's kind of a mix between, I've got a contemporary romance, I've got a suspense, kind of a general fiction war setting, another historical set before the war, and another romance. So yeah, I think it's a good mix this month. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this video today, and let me know what you plan on reading in June. And again, if you want to join the buddy read of Children of the Stars with myself and Alma, just send me a message on Instagram, and I've already said the handle, and it is in the description box as well, so then just you can join that group chat with us. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.